Hi, this is Edie Sowers. Welcome. I am anxious to talk to you about what we're going to do today. I have a little exercise in mind. So before we get started, I want to take just a second to introduce myself in case you don't know me. I am a coach. I work as a personal life coach, and I like to work with Christian women on a variety of things. Basically, how to get their lives back on track, feeling like they've balanced all their most important priorities, taking care of themselves, maximizing the strengths that God gave them. And so that's what I do. I do one-on-one coaching, group coaching, I do workshops and speaking. Anything that I can do to connect with women is my heart's desire. So today I have a few questions for you. I'm just going to list them off, and I want you to just think about your responses. They're pretty easy. It's not like a hard test. So, do you want to make good decisions? Do you want to make wise choices? Feel grounded in your life? Feel like you're aligned between what's most important to you and what you're doing? And do you want to have your thoughts headed in the right direction? So those are obviously some closed-ended questions, and I predict everyone is answering yes to those questions because that's what we all want, right? So today I'm going to take y'all through a little exercise, and I'm going to ask you to actually pause the video in a couple of spots to give you some time to really think about this. If you're not in a situation where you're able to pause it, just go ahead and watch it all the way through, but do please jot down the things that I want you to respond to. And then when you have some peace and quiet where you can really give this some thought, please do it, because I think you'll find that it's very helpful for you to kind of zero in on some things that'll help you big picture. All right, let's take a deep breath. First question is, I want you to think of a person in your life. It could be someone who's either living or who has deceased, who you really admire, who you think very highly of and you have great respect for. So if you're able to pause the video, pause it now. Give that some thought. Next question. Now, when you pause the video, I want you to take about 3 to 4 minutes to just write freely about that person. What is it about them that you admire so much? Specifically, their personality, what they do, the kind of example they set, the traits that they have, what they've done that causes you to admire and treasure them so much. Okay, so stop the video and maybe set a timer even for no more than 5 minutes and just write about this person that you cherish and admire so much. Okay, welcome back. I want to tell you a story. The first time I did an exercise similar to this was a long time ago. I was probably about 29 or 30 years old. I was a junior officer in the Navy, and I was at a leadership training, some kind of personal development thing like that. And they asked the question, who is your hero? And my first thought was, I need to pick somebody like Amelia Earhart or Rosa Parks or some great person in history, Robert E. Lee, whoever, some great example of a leader. But really and truly, the first person that came into my mind was my sister. And I thought, she is a hero to me. Let me tell you a little bit about her. She's my older sister, and she's super smart and well-educated. And to this day, into her 60s, she is a lifelong learner, a voracious reader, constantly learning, very curious about life. And she could have done anything that she wanted for a career and would have been very successful. But she chose to be a wife to her husband, a very good wife, and a fantastic mom to her 3 daughters. She homeschooled her kids and raised them. Now they're grown women and have their own families and their own kids. And their kids are thriving and doing very well. So the fruit of my sister's efforts has really come full circle. When when I was just graduating from high school, I wasn't too keen on my sister. We didn't have a super great relationship, but she came home from college one day and told me about the Lord and walked me through how to become a Christian. And that was awesome because I had seen a change in her from the time she went away to college. And then, and so before I went off to college, as I graduated high school, my sister made this beautiful handwritten notebook. It's basically a devotion book that she wrote for me personally as a way to kind of disciple me from a distance. And that's a treasure. Obviously, I still have it all these years later. So she goes on, has her kids, and I'm in the Navy. I'm a JO in the Navy. I would come home to visit, and I thought, this is weird, this homeschool thing. What is this anyway? Because this was back in the day when that was not very common. So I show up at the house, this, hip single person coming in from San Diego, California. And I see the kids, at the table doing their schoolwork and how that was going. It was fantastic. They were learning and reading, and the kind of game that they came up with in their playtime was a game called Library. They weren't on their iPads and their iPhones or anything like that. They were either out in the country, playing with the horses or going out to the tank to fish or whatever. But they were amazing. And there was a family read aloud time at night. And every morning, my sister would wake up early and have a Bible study time in her bed. And as everyone woke up, the little girls would wake up and they would scamper in there and crawl up in the bed with mom. And I would wake up and I'd go in there. And every morning she had this amazing devotion time that was just teaching her daughters the practicality of God's word and who he is and how we relate to him. And that made such a big impression on me. And so she goes on through life and, keeps an amazing home for all of her family. And I thought, you know what? She's committed to God. She's a great wife. She's a fantastic mom. She lives her life with confidence. And any challenges that come her way, she's firmly rooted and solidly grounded in what's most important. And so when I was asked that question, who my hero is her, because that's what I want to be like. And so, I had this fancy Navy career. And now I'm building a coaching business and all that. But in reality, what I want is to be that kind of a person. I want to be like her in those most important things. So that's my story. So why is it important to identify these traits in the people that you admire the most, the person that you chose? Well, those are your values. And it's very important. This exercise is just one step towards getting really clear on what's most important to you. And most people, when they're asked the question, what's most important to you, you can rattle off a few things. But an exercise like this, where you identify specific behaviors and traits of a person you greatly admire, that's going to really give you, okay, this is the way I want to live my life. So when you know those things and you've written them out and you've kind of gotten clear on what those are, they're going to help you make good decisions. And when you have to make difficult choices, you can sort of revisit, okay, who's the person I want to be? What are my values? Well, this is what I need to choose, even if it's the hard thing. It helps you to think about the right things and have alignment between the way you're living and what's most important to you. It sounds kind of like a no-brainer, like, duh, this is something that should just come second nature, right? But it's not. And here's what I mean. So there might be times in your life when you're feeling anxious or confused or just restless or dissatisfied or discontent. And when you get to those times in your life, it's probably because something that you value, something that is one of your core values for the kind of person you want to be, the way you want to live your life, you're probably not actually living each day aligned with that value or those values. And I've seen this at work in my life. One of my top values is to always spend time with the Lord and to have a really close, intimate relationship with him. And so when I find myself feeling irritable and edgy and everybody else is doing everything wrong, right, And I'm like, what's wrong with those people? Why can't they do things I want them to do? And I get kind of anxious about life or whatever. I stop and I step back and I go, you know what? I haven't been spending time with the Lord regularly. So I can see this is a value of mine. This is what I'm doing. And here's the gap. Here's why I'm not living every day in a way that I would like to live with the results that I want. So I want you to kind of think about that. I encourage you to explore this a little bit more, really get down those values, write them down maybe on a 4x5 card or whatever. Keep it handy. When you start experiencing difficult challenges or big changes in your life, or you're just finding that you're not feeling super happy or content, or you're confused or whatever, go back and actually look at the values that you've come up with. And the exercise we did today is just the beginning. There are lots of other things that I do in my classes and with my clients, but this is a good start. And it's really fun to spend some time meditating on the person or a person that you greatly admire, that you want to be like. So thanks for cooperating with me and doing this. If you didn't do it today by pausing and doing it right now, please do go take care of this. I would love to hear about what you came up with. So God bless you. Thank you for watching. And I'm going to turn off this recording, and you have a great day. All right. Bye.